If you got some money to burn and would like to support my channel, check out J-List or Play Asia. If you don't need games or Japanese imports, be sure to support my channel on Patreon or Maker Support. The links to everything mentioned can be found in the video description.
So, this is Louis, and I'm about, I think I'm on my 4th glass of whiskey, bourbon, and Coke. But I decided, why not just take a shot at a video that came to my attention just on Twitter, and I'm not even sure, why it popped into my feed, but I saw this video that has like 500,000 views that was published the other day by Vox, and it's just every single video wrapped up into one, and I've watched about the first 20 seconds of it. It's a video where you have this middle-class Western twat, West Coast twat, who knows the truth of the matter. Like, I know for a fact she knows the answer to this issue. But instead of being honest about the culture that she's from, what is actually unifying about these different cultures and what's actually true about ours, but not anymore because we are an advanced economy. This whole thing is an economic and class issue. And this is the thing, like, if she was an old school leftist on this specific issue, she would actually be right, because this is a class issue. And I know that some people on the right would argue that there's no real gain that one could have by reading Marx's material or understanding Marxism, especially in terms of analyzing the world. But I do think that the class lens, understanding class and the dynamics of it, and even including Marxist analysis, it actually can lead you to the truth. Now, the issue is that if you go too far in your analysis and you think that a mundane issue or an issue that is derived from capitalism is therefore evidence that we need to overthrow it, I think that's one of the main issues that, unfortunately, is a byproduct of Marxism, is utopian delusions that somehow, the most liberating force in the world, which is liberalism and capitalism, that's something that needs to be discarded because it has unfortunate side effects and has parts of it that are not perfect. I think that anyone that's in their right mind, left-wing or right-wing, should concede that there are elements of capitalism that are bad. But the issue is that the upside of it is so grand that it's not even worth discussing, in my opinion, at this point anymore. In my opinion, sometimes the libertarian/conservatives go a bit too far in thinking that the private sector can solve every issue and that government is illegitimate. I obviously disagree with that. But the issue is that oftentimes the market is just answering a demand, and oftentimes it's not based around race identity, because there are a few products in this world that one can buy that's based on race, other than, racial grievance shit, like this black identity extremist shirt. That's something that's based on racial grievance. There's a market for that, And somebody like, I forget his fucking name, that's what he sells you. He's a charlatan. He's a huckster. That's what he does. He hawks racial grievance on people. There are legitimate, identitarian lunatics, but he's not one of them. He's just there to sell a product, and it's racial grievance. I like him, actually, to some extent, because he's pretty flagrant about that. And some have even said that he's controlled opposition, and it's like, I don't even know if that's true. I think he's just in it for the money. I think he sees a market for being a clean-cut black guy that shows up when there's press around and gets attention and gets good photo ops and all the rest and gets arrested and, derives legitimacy through that. You gotta, concede that to the guy. You gotta say, like, props to you, You understand what you're doing, and you're doing it well. He's the guy that endorsed Clinton. I'm getting way off track here, but the point is that that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. You know better. You know the truth of this video and who actually buys these products and why. We'll get into it. The only thing that I'm going to say right up front is that this is a class issue, and that includes her, because she's a middle-class twat, as I believe I started this with, but also that, you know, you're talking about a gendered issue, too, because I don't use fucking skin product. You know what's the one time I used makeup or skin product? Was when I was a teenager, and I had very light acne issues. I had some pimple issues, okay? That's when I use skin product. The only other product that I would use currently is for hygiene, like, you know, face soap or whatever. Like, that's it. That and deodorant and other simple hygiene products that everyone uses. But what you're talking about here is something very fucking specific, and it's almost exclusively for fucking women. But you don't want to say that shit, do you? I mean, maybe you will. I haven't really seen the video, so let's get into it.
This is a Blake buy-in box. It's a care package from my mom back home in Los Angeles.
It's always filled with everyday items and a bunch of Filipino goodies. Instant noodles in here, sinigang soup packets, fruit from my mom's backyard, toothpaste. But then there's this, skin whitening products.
Skin whiteners are a big business.
More than $400 million worth of skin whitening products is sold each year in India alone.
8 out of 10 women in Nigeria use skin lightening products, the world's highest percentage.
Like, what the fuck does this even have to do with the United States, Vox? Because I know that ultimately that's where it's going to come back to. I have to assume that we're going to come back to ethnocentricville of America is the world, which is every fucking video you put out, and it's every fucking progressive talking point. You are, in general, you guys are middle-class cunts from the West Coast. Almost to a T, that is who you are. All of you also share in the fact that you have the self-awareness of a fucking cinder block. You have no awareness. Whatever. Let's just keep going.
Skin lightening market in Asia Pacific alone is valued at over $13 billion.
In 2015, the skin whitening industry was worth about $10 billion worldwide.
Yeah, women like their fucking makeup. Again, like, I love the fact that we're not going to address that. We're not going to address the fact that this is something that every woman on the face of this earth does. Every woman on the face of this earth spends a lot of money painting their fucking face. Want to address that fact? And you want to address the fact that it's not just for fucking men, it's for other women too, that women are going out of their way to paint their fucking face just so they don't look bad in comparison to other women while in the midst of other women? We want to talk about that shit. You don't see a lot of men going around wearing makeup or giving each other shit for, you know, having stubble or whatever the fuck. A lot of men don't give a shit how other men look, but it seems to me that women are one of the reasons why this is an industry, that you're even talking about it. It's products for women. That's the market.
And by 2024, it is expected to more than triple to $31.2 billion.
And I guarantee you that that is not going to be because of the United States or the West in general. I think that's going to be because of Africa, the subcontinent, Asia, and all these other nations that are generally becoming more and more wealthy, or I should say less poor. Largely because of Western outsourcing and Western investment in those nations. That's why they now have the funds to buy these fucking products.
These products have been around for a long time and have proven to be damaging, physically and emotionally. So what accounts for the growing popularity?
So are you going to tell me that you think at some point you're going to convince women to stop painting their face? That's what you think? You're going to somehow just reconfigure the minds of foreign women so that they stop painting their faces? Good fucking luck. Good fucking luck to you in trying to format the minds of women to stop fucking painting their faces and to stop using all the different products that they use and spend their money on and spend their man's money on. Oh, God, I love you, Vox. You are so easy. You know, I'm going to be about 5 glasses in a second here because I'm going to get a refill. But I don't even have to be sober to showcase how terrible your videos are, and all of your arguments are just such shit. What does... Okay, let's just go.
For starters, skin whitening products rely on advertisements like these.
Wow, you have the most beautiful glowing skin.
Now I have visibly fairer skin.
Fucking foreign. And, like, the whole reason why is fucking class. That is why. Like, I'll find some random piece online that says what this is all about. This is about working in the fields as a farmer or as a laborer. When you have wealth and you are inside, your skin is lighter because you have less exposure to the sun. This is a class issue. This is true worldwide. Nobility and the rich, or the well-off, did not go outside and labor. They stayed inside. So their skin was naturally fairer than those out in the field all fucking day. This is even true, you can see this, for men that work on job sites or in construction or roofing or whatever. They have very tan, leathery skin because they're outside in the sun all fucking day. My father, who worked on construction sites for decades, his skin, even now, is still pretty dark. And he is white. But the issue is that in certain cultures, that's an issue. In our culture, it's good to be tan. It's good to look tan. I like having a decent tan. I spend most of my time inside, but it's different for different cultures. In other cultures that are not as economically developed, you want to have lighter skin because it makes you look wealthier. It's like wearing a watch. But in our culture, it's better to look tan so that way you look healthier. If you're pale and shit, you look terrible. And I speak from experience in that. If you're pale and your skin is kind of like creamy and weird looking, unless you're a woman, maybe you can get away with it. But if you're a guy, you look like a faggot. You look like some bourgeois faggot that spends all of his time on a computer. It's not a good look, You look like kind of a guy that gets beat up, bullied in school. If you are tall, tan, and in shape, you look healthier and you're likely to be more popular and, just generally you're given the benefit of the doubt in terms of your appearance. Appearance is incredibly important in this world. And again, you're never going to format the minds of people to disregard appearance. It's impossible. It is part of humanity. It's part of being human. It's part of us being a social species. You're never going to get rid of that.
Skin color forms part of what gives us status and prestige in society.
You are some fucking woman from overseas that barely speaks this language who doesn't teach in dermatology or anything related to the topic. You're a fucking professor of journalism. You're probably some social justice fucking cunt. What the fuck do you have to tell me about this issue? You could tell me, a decent argument if it was about class, because that's actually the reason behind this. But you're not going to do that. Because if you were, you wouldn't be on Vox.
All these negative associations that society has already imposed on dark skin. You can't be happy, you can't find a man, right? You don't fit into society's beauty ideals. So the advertising is only reinforcing and exacerbating the pre-existing message.
Thanks to globalization, it's a message that's reaching more people every year.
No! Jesus fucking Christ. It's not capitalism that is creating the market. The market already exists. The demand exists. And look at all these different nations that you have here as examples. Several are Asian, but also some are African. Okay? The demand exists already. And what capitalism is doing is saying, hey, look, there's a market. Give me some money to make this product to sell to these people demanding it. Capitalism is not the cause. Capitalism is simply a tool for delivering a product to people demanding it. What the fuck? This is what happens when you abandon any concept of class being important in why things exist or how reality exists. when you go down the road of racial identitarianism and all this social justice shit, you become detached from reality. You have your conclusion. All these different races on the face of this earth want to look white. Not that they want to have fairer skin so that they look wealthier by comparison to somebody in the field all day, which is true for anybody. It's true for white people as well. If you're in the field or if you're on a roof or you're on a job site all fucking day, your skin is tanned. All right? That's what it's about. It's about looking fucking bourgeois. You would think the fucking bourgeois people that make this shit would understand that. I think they honestly do. But they have their fucking racial identitarian ideology to push. This is not about determining reality. This is about pushing propaganda.
The worldwide cosmetics market was worth about $293.5 billion last year, and it is expected to grow. That growth is fueled by a rising middle class, especially in the Asia-Pacific region, which has the biggest share of the cosmetics market.
Why doesn't this fucking dumb cunt call her mom and say, hey mom, why did you send me this fucking skin product? And she said, oh, so you can look wealthier to your fucking faggot bourgeois friends, in California. She said she's from LA. That's why she sent it. Just ask her. She'll tell you why. And that'll be the fucking reason. Because I understand this. Why don't you fucking take some of your Vox money, fly to Korea, fly to Japan, fly to India, fly to Nigeria, ask somebody. Just see someone buying it in a convenience store, ask them why they're fucking buying it, and they'll tell you. You don't have to even speculate. But again, we know the answer. It's not because you're pursuing the truth, it's because you have the reason. It's for race. Fuck whitey. That's the whole reason behind everything. Everyone just wants to be white. Everyone wants to look white because whites are oppressing everybody. Whites are evil. We all know what you're doing here. We all know what the fucking ideology is going to say. We all know what the end is in this. It has nothing to do with capitalism because capitalism is just a tool for delivering products that are demanded. That's it. That's all capitalism is. But Jesus Christ, let's talk about globalism. Let's not talk about the fact that this country, my country, America, has been gutted by shipping off our good-paying jobs overseas to these countries that are now richer than ever before and are now buying these products because they can afford to now. Let's not talk about what's happened in this country. Let's not talk about the fact that you're here because of our immigration policy, Miss Filipino. That's why you're here. Because why wouldn't you go to any of these other countries? Why wouldn't your family still be in the Philippines? Why are you here? It's because you want to be here. They came to the land of opportunity. They came here to take somebody else's fucking job and likely do it better than them. All credit to your family. They probably worked really hard so that your stupid bourgeois ass can be telling me fucking bullshit.
The worldwide cosmetics market was worth about $293.5 billion last year, and it is expected to grow.
That's what happens when the fucking world's population grows. What kind of fucking argument is this? It's like telling me that the market for toilet paper is growing. No shit! The world population is growing. What do you expect it to fucking go down? So long as there's more people on this planet and they need to wipe their ass, they're gonna buy it. They're gonna buy toilet paper. There's more women in the world, guess what? They're gonna fucking want to paint their face, as all women want to. So they're gonna buy these products.
But these products and the messages of these ads are destructive because they rely on a concept called colorism, which sociologist Margaret Hunter...
Oh, sociologist. Oh boy, I can't wait. An anthropology from Mills College. Oh man, get ready for some fucking hardcore fact-based, evidence-based, statistics-based argumentation from the hard fucking scientist Margaret Hunter, Professor Margaret Hunter.
Sociologist Margaret Hunter defines as the process of discrimination that privileges light-skinned people of color over their dark-skinned counterparts. One study showed that lighter-skinned black women in North Carolina received shorter prison sentences than their darker peers. Another study found that white interviewers deemed light-skinned blacks and Hispanics more intelligent than dark-skinned people who had identical educational achievements.
Okay, so even if I concede your argument here, that people, just people, generally, not somebody from some city in a sample size of 100 or whatever, like, I'll just concede those studies. How do you change that? How do you change perception just on a global scale of light to dark? I mean, you're going to go on over to Africa, and this is what's always beautiful about this. Just extrapolate this to Africa. You're going to go over to Africa, they're going to go, look at that dark nigger over there, and he's like going to discriminate against him. I don't fucking think so. I don't fucking think so. The studies that you're going to be able to use on this are going to be incredibly fucking localized. Dismissed. Because you're making this about East Asia and Africa, and you're citing studies from the United States. Suck my dick, you dumb bitch. I get your ethnocentric totalitarian worldview. You can't fucking fool me.
They also reinforce centuries-old ideas about race and hygiene. Check out these old so-bads.
I love the white man's burden one, because that is the progressive movement in the United States encapsulated so well that it is horrifically ironic. It is so similar in so many fucking ways. You guys know, for anyone that's followed me for a while now, I've actually said that. The progressive man's burden, I know Sargon as well. It's so similar. It's so fucking similar. In the United States right now, the most ethnocentric fucking movement alive is not the alt-right. It is the fucking progressive left, the white left. They are insanely ethnocentric, and this is an example of that. You take ads from English in American history, and you extrapolate that onto the rest of the world. That is the definition of ethnocentrism. You see something, a phenomenon going on overseas, you can only view it through your own prism as a Westerner. And you use studies from the United States that you concoct in your own ideological echo chambers to justify your position.
This was part of this a larger project, right, of presenting white civilization, European civilization, as superior.
That is what you do. That is not what I do. What we are doing here in the West, if anything, is investing in corporations to sell foreigners products that they demand. Look at the example of Japanese women, or any women, that carry around umbrellas in the daylight when there's no rain. Why is that? So they don't get tanned. They don't have the sun beating down on them and they tan. That's why. That is why women overseas, and it's part of the whole costume, which is in their history, before the white man ever stepped foot on their fucking island, they still had this as part of their garb. The reason why is to avoid looking poor, because the poor people are in the fields.
Welcome to the rice fields, motherfucker!
Poor people are working on the roofs. They're working on the job sites. They have tan skin. This is why. What you're doing is looking at that culture, rejecting their reasoning, and somehow saying that us selling them the product, or just even investing in the corporation selling them the product, is us formatting their minds to basically ingratiate them with some kind of white supremacist concept in their own mind, where they have some obsession with being white because they're obsessed with Western white people, when that is flatly fucking absurd, because a lot of these people don't really care about Westerners. They're concerned about their own lives. They don't care about the West. They're concerned about the East. This is you taking a ridiculous totalitarian concept that you subscribe to and just putting it on other people. You don't interview these people and ask them why. You just put your reasoning on them and say that's why they believe it. That's why I use the phrase totalitarian, because you don't even give a shit what people believe. You just have your worldview, and that's it. Any worldview that is in contrast or is even in competition, that you see in competition with your worldview, is illegitimate to you. And you immediately want to quash it or eliminate it or deny its existence, like you're doing here with Easterners in all of this. You don't fucking even talk to these people. You have this one dumpy fucking cunt that's some fucking lunatic professor, surprise, another fucking Marxist professor here to tell us about fucking white people and fucking whatever other bullshit, colorism. But you can't even just go over there and interview people in the fucking street and just ask them why. You can't even do that. You can't just ask the question from their perspective why they're doing this. Does it have to do with the United States and fucking our terrible history of being the greatest nation on the face of this earth? And they're going to say, I don't know what you're fucking talking about. I don't give a shit about the United States. I don't give a shit about the West. I don't give a shit about white supremacy from 200 fucking years ago. I'm putting this cream on my fucking skin so it lightens it to attract a male. This is something that is part of our culture that goes back a couple thousand years. It has nothing to do with the West. You know, the United States, blame for everything, only in existence for a couple hundred years. Blame for everything, only in existence for a couple hundred years. This is ethnocentrism. You blame us for shit that couldn't possibly be our fault. And yet somehow we fucking steer the whole goddamn world. Somehow, every culture in this world, we fucking control. Although, that's the thing. You want to do that. You want to control their culture. You want to control every culture on the face of this earth and dictate to them how they should feel about fucking everything because you are a totalitarian.
And here the association is that blackness is a form of uncleanliness that can be wiped away, but it's also in many ways simply a very blatantly racist act.
During the Civil Rights era,
this has nothing to do with the fucking East. This was a snapshot in history in the United States. A snapshot. A fucking decade and a half. And you're somehow saying that this has to do with thousands of years of history throughout the entire East, including Africa as well. You're somehow going to say that what you're saying here about the United States and our 15 fucking years or decade and a half of civil rights, that has anything to do with them. Anything at all to do with them. No, it doesn't. It has nothing to do with their cultures. Nothing. God, like, there is something fundamentally wrong with our universities. And people always say, like, oh, I'm going too far and whatever fucking else when it comes to just doing as much as we can to take all of the fucking Marxist professors in our universities and expelling them in the most expedient way possible. That somehow there's something wrong with it. But this is the thing. We are creating a ridiculous totalitarian ideology that is seeking to dominate the world and dictate to every living human being how they are allowed to even perceive of something. That is what their end goal is. But no, let's just allow them to continue to fester and grow and radicalize further in the universities that they're currently in, indoctrinating entire generations of people. No, every single one of these fucking professors, including the cunt on this video, they should all be expelled.
The Black Power movement sought to counter this idea with messages like "Black is beautiful." But that message hasn't undone the damage wrought by centuries of colorism.
Why do you want that skin color?
Because it looks lighter than this kind, because this looks a lot like that one.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't like the way brown looks, because the way brown looks really nasty for some reason, but I don't know what reason. That's all.
You ever consider that this is set up and that this girl has been indoctrinated by her parents? Could that be a problem with this? Considering how many ridiculous racial identitarians there are that are black in this country? Because there are a fucking lot. A lot of fucking black people are lunatic collectivists. Even like innocuous people, otherwise innocuous people, are really fucking crazy in being identitarian and collectivist. I don't know what to say. This is something that you people are not bettering by what you're doing here. You're not drawing awareness to the issue. You are continuing the issue. You're making it worse. Also, what you have to say to this chick is that you're going to grow up and you're going to paint your face for the rest of your fucking life, kid. Because you're a woman. Or a girl now, but you will be a woman. And guess what? You're going to paint your face for the rest of your life anyway. So don't worry about your skin color. Don't worry. There's going to be plenty of guys that are going to, treat you fine and want to date you and marry you and blah, blah, blah. But I'd be more worried about the fact that you're going to be painting your face for the rest of your life. I mean, we even have to go into the serious part of just saying, like, listen, you're an individual. Why don't we talk about that? I'm sure, let's see if their parents are good with that, saying that you are an individual who is responsible for all of your actions and all of your choices in life, good and bad, and that ultimately where you end up is up to you. Obviously, things will interfere in your life and, change your life. I can even say that, for me, that many things have changed my life for the better and the worse that were outside of my hands I could do nothing about. But in fact, more often than not, where you are in life is up to you as an individual because you are responsible for your own life. Why don't we talk to her about that? I bet her parents are going to say, get out of here, you fucking Republican, or some shit. Because unfortunately, like I said, black people are incredibly collectivist. And a lot of black people, especially from the inner city and that, they're just ridiculous. They just think that, the world owes them something. And that every stupid decision they've ever made is somebody else's fault. Now, obviously, there's a lot of black people that's not true for, but unfortunately, there's enough of where it's something that can be pointed out. And I wish it were the other case. That's why I point out that it's important that more and more black people are leaving the Democratic Party. Because if the party is doing nothing for you, and you question whether, it can actually do anything for you as an individual, and you choose for yourself to leave and pursue whatever politics that you can by pretty much, informing yourself, that could open the possibility that you could run into some racial identitarian who's going to say, join our fucking Communist Party or whatever. But maybe you luck out and you research things on your own, and, it doesn't mean you have to become a conservative or a Republican. You just decide for yourself, I'm going to think of myself as an individual and run my life that way. Because I think that's what more black people need. They don't need more bullshit. They don't need any of this fucking garbage by fucking Bay Area Marxists. What they need to do is read some literature, actual literature, and, do some research into individualism and understand that if you are pursuant to your own self-interest and you want to be successful, then it's going to require hard work on your part, and you are going to have to look out for yourself first and foremost and make good decisions on your part. You can't just leave this to everybody else and blame everybody else, but whatever.
These products are also dangerous because they can physically damage the skin.
I've seen very intense cystic acne. I've seen irreversible skin thinning from using high-strength hydroquinone. I've seen ochronosis, which is a paradoxical darkening of the skin.
Aside from creams and soaps, there's a wide variety of ways people are lightening their skin, like getting chemical peels, using glutathione injections or pills, or even applying cleaning bleach to their face and body.
There are going to be men that do this, but overwhelmingly this is going to be women. And, that's part of this. That really is part of this. This is the effect of, an economy growing and women having money to buy. Because if I was in a relationship and a girl asked me, will you buy me these skincare products to lighten my skin? My question would be, well, in the chemicals in these, this makeup, is this going to damage your skin? Are you sure this is, not going to hurt you, damage your skin? And if the answer is, well, I'm not sure, then I'm going to say, no, I'm not buying that for you. You can buy it yourself and make the decision for yourself, but I'm not buying you shit that could damage you, could hurt you. I'm not going to do that. And if we were in a situation where I was the breadwinner and she was a stay-at-home mom or whatever, or we were both poor, and my answer would be, we don't have time for this makeup shit. We got to, worry about food and keeping shelter over our head and everything else, paying for utilities and necessities. We don't have time to worry about skin-lightening shit. This is about countries having more wealth and women having more wealth and choosing to buy these products. It's no one else involved. It's their fucking decision. Men are not forcing this onto women. Women are choosing to do this. And I think that it should be up to women to decide what they do to their own body in this way. Although I would say, again, like, I don't think that women who have a darker skin pigmentation should use this shit. Especially if you, like you just show, it could be harmful. I would say, just, you know, be who you are. Have the skin pigmentation you have. I and many other people do not have a problem with dating people with darker skin pigmentation than our own. And such is the case for a lot of people that have darker skin pigmentation than mine. They would be more than willing to date someone that had lighter skin pigmentation. Like, this is not that big of a deal. And that would be my fucking answer to this. I wouldn't go on and on and on and on and make this such a fucking case about, oh, white supremacy, blah, 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 blah. The Western world is formatting the minds of so many people and all this shit. No, it's just, hey, don't take your skin pigmentation so fucking seriously. Most people don't fucking care, especially here in the West. We don't fucking care. Interracial couples are at a record rate. I got a Pew study to prove it. Record rate of miscegenation. So it's not that fucking big of a deal, especially in the West. Little Miss fucking ethnocentric Filipino girl. Alright? Not a big deal here. Big deal over there. Not here. We want to talk about here? Let's talk about fucking here. I'm the one with the fucking studies that are based on actual statistics, that are based on actual data, that have reasoning behind them that's not based on fucking lunatic Marxism, offshoot fucking Marxism that's been cooked up in universities since the 60s. Horseshit. Totalitarian dogma. The reason why you fucking progressive retards don't debate anyone is because I would fucking throw this in your face like a rock. I wouldn't hesitate to throw this in your fucking face and to say that you are flatly wrong, demonstrably wrong, ethnocentric, ridiculous, and totalitarian. Utterly absurd. I would throw it in your fucking face. But if you're here on your own echo chamber on YouTube, you can just say whatever the fuck you want. And just not have anyone actually rebuff you in any way that could actually change your mind. And not that you actually want your mind changed. Because I have yet to meet a single progressive where that's been their fucking worldview. I'm a progressive that's willing to change his or her mind. You'd be better off finding like a fucking black KKK member. There's more of them than there are progressives looking to have an open worldview. They don't exist. You either are into it and deep into it, or you were never fucking persuaded in the first place. And that's true for me. I considered a long time ago considering myself a progressive, and it didn't happen because I looked into progressivism enough where I said, no, I don't like this. I don't like this movement. There's too much about this that seems to be a lot like fucking religious dogma. I don't like it. And so I never did call myself a progressive. I called myself a leftist, never called myself a progressive. And I'm glad I didn't. Because who fucking knows where I'd be if I swallowed the fucking blue pill, so to say, and became a fucking totalitarian, racial identitarian lunatic. Who knows where I'd fucking be? So yeah, that would be my advice for this fucking Filipino girl is, you know, just let this shit go. If you're not gonna fucking interview people, if you're gonna be fucking lazy, just let this shit go. Because otherwise, you know, there's no point to this. There's no point. You're not even going to go over there to lecture them. You're just publishing propaganda for Westerners to see. That's all this is.
Hydroquinone is a highly toxic chemical used in photo processing, rubber manufacturing, and hair dyes, but it is also one of the most commonly used ingredients for skin whitening. It's regulated in the US and banned in certain countries abroad, but consumers get their hands on high concentrations of it through under-the-table sources. In the US, light-skin beauty standards still exist in more subtle messages like, who is considered the most beautiful? And some celebrities of color appearing to have lighter skin over time.
You are looking to be white. What do you say to that?
I will say that as an adult, you decide to do things. It's like, do you guys condemn people who tan their skin? Is that something, do they do it because they hate themselves? No, it's a choice as an adult.
See, this is the thing. Even if she looks like a lunatic by fucking lightening her skin, she's right. Every human on the face of this earth is an individual, and they are responsible for the choices they make. If they want to lighten their skin or darken their skin, that's up to them. Whether it's Michael Jackson or whatever the fucking dumb cunt's name is that pretended to be black. One of the many women that are like that. It's up to them whether they want to make themselves a fucking clown for the rest of society to look at. This is the thing. Like, you are taking skin pigmentation seriously. I don't. And tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of people in this society, in our society, America specifically, because that's what we're talking about yet again, most people don't fucking care. And if they do care, it's to a minimal degree. It's only people like you that are obsessed with skin color. And it's like, yeah, you're looking at other people that are obsessed with skin color. Rather than argue that people shouldn't take this so seriously, you take it equally seriously. So you aren't even offering anything as any kind of practical solution to this. You're just trying to strangely diagnose something in such an absurd manner that you don't even... I have yet to hear one solution to what you're saying here. What is the solution to everyone obsessing over white skin from your viewpoint? What the fuck do you do? Should we just ban products? Should we have education centers where we fucking correct these people? Like, what do you fucking propose as any solution to this? I know it's going to be fucking draconian, because I know you people.
While wanting lighter skin is not a crime, nor is it necessarily bad, it's important to be conscious of this choice and why it's different from skin tanning or putting on lipstick.
Oh, it's different than putting on makeup. Oh, isn't that convenient? Isn't that convenient? Because that's something all women do. Even fucking lesbians wear fucking makeup. Most of them, anyways, as far as I'm aware. And that's a very, very, very small percentage of people in society. But it's just hilarious how it's true for every woman. And yet, somehow you gotta make that exception. When it's not. It really isn't. It's just continuing to paint your face. You know, what's the difference between that and dyeing your hair and fucking whatever else? It's all beauty products. That's all it is. Oh, man. This is such a fucking beautiful fucking encapsulation of just watching a bourgeois woman just find some fucking issue to consume her that's so fucking trivial, so absurdly mundane that, you know, that it's beautiful. This video is beautiful because it just showcases how Western women have nothing to fucking complain about. They have to look overseas and make up a fucking problem so that they can then complain. That's all. I mean, that's an industry for women in the West, is complaining. I complain a lot, too. Make no mistake, I complain all the time. But I was fairly spoiled as a child. And I'm kind of self-aware of the fact that I'm kind of spoiled. There's a lot of women in the West that are not self-aware. Like, going back to that cinder block equation before. That seems to be kind of the norm for a lot of women in the West. Where, you know, like, this is what they're fucking complaining about. This is what they're fucking complaining about. They can be talking about, you know, the many issues in our society revolving around economics, revolving around class, revolving around trade, revolving around immigration. There are policing, even that. There are many fucking issues to focus on in our country. Because, again, this always comes back to the United States. There are many things we could talk about that are so much more important than this. I go back to the fact that this is absurd for you to even be fucking talking about. But, again, this is what you got. You're not going to talk about some serious economic issue because you're ignorant to it. You're not going to talk about international relations and the fact that the United States is the world's hegemon and what importance that plays in everything. That's something you could talk about that is important in every nation on the face of this earth. Our relation to the rest of the world and our economic power and all the rest. Military power, it's heavily important to world affairs. You're completely fucking ignorant to that. So this is all you got. You got a fucking bourgeois Filipino woman, second, third generation, whatever, complaining about fucking makeup products overseas that... Oh my god, I'm just gonna continue.
Because ultimately, from applying creams and getting regular treatments to avoiding skin tanning altogether, skin whitening is a way of life. Attitudes are starting to change with inclusive makeup lines and emojis, media campaigns celebrating dark skin beauty,
racial identitarianism for fucking darker skinned people. That's your fucking answer. Oh, there's racism in the world. You know how we solve racism? Even more fucking racism. That's how we solve obsession with race, is more obsessing over race.
And more celebrities talking about the issue.
Young black woman. I still feel like that's what we're fighting, healing from the past.
But many people are still unaware of their preferences for light skin because it's so deeply ingrained in society.
Oh my fucking god, man. Societies, you stupid fucking bitch. Okay? You're talking about Nigeria, Japan, South Korea, India, big fucking country, by the way. I don't know if you've noticed, even more people than the United States. When you say society, you mean the United States. But you're talking about a foreign fucking issue. God fucking damn. What is wrong with your mind? Societies. More than one. There is no global society, you dumb Marxist cunt. You only speak for one very localized area in the fucking Bay Area, on the West Coast, in LA. That's who you fucking speak for. You don't speak for fucking anyone else. So shut up!
And despite the criticism and safety issues of these products,
if you want number one on at least my list, and I'm sure many other men will say this to this extent as well. Number one on the unattractive qualities in women that I want nothing to do with and will not date is high maintenance. That's you, bitch. All right, I'm on number 6. So let's just finish this off.
The projected growth in sales means the world still has a long way to go until the practice of skin whitening becomes obsolete.
Alright, so that's it. That's the video. We just hit the hour mark. I'm going to cut a decent amount of this down. I don't know how this is going to turn out, all things considered, because I'm not drunk, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there, and I'm going to be drinking number 7 as soon as I'm done with this, number 6. We're going to be working on some editing and working on number 7. I think 8 is where I'm going to be fucking officially drunk. And I might have to stop. I got some water here. I might have to stop. But hopefully you enjoyed this. And if you don't lighten your fucking skin, I am not going to date you because I am a white man from America. And you might say, well, I'm a 9 and you're an 8, meaning I'm an 8. And that's true, but you got dark skin, bitch. So you better lighten that fucking skin. You better lighten that fucking skin, girl. You better be out there putting that fucking tire shit on your face and lightening your skin. Or else I'm not gonna bone you. When if you got a hole, I'll bone you. That's true for most men. You got a hole, I'll bone you. Okay, I gotta stop. Thanks for listening.